Hello and welcome. You join me, ADG, and here we are for race 9 of the Mature Racing Club Gran Turismo Touring Car Championship. And this week, the first race is being held at Blue Moon Bay Speedway in Field A. And without much further ado, we will quickly go through the qualifying order. It's a 20-minute qualifying session to determine these orders, so bear that in mind. There's a bit of effort that goes into this qualifying. So Edwin 420 in the BMW M4 puts it in first place with the Estrella, my personal favourite beer, on the back there. Only just noticed that. Has 91 is in second in the BMW M4. It's pretty early in the morning, might struggle to get my words out. Mutt 36 is in third place in the BMW as well. So the BMW clearly the quickest car around this track by the look of it. MRC CJW in fourth place in the BMW. Robust the Hood is in fifth place in the BMW. Ginger Crackhead is in sixth in the BMW. And then we've got Ajax, the first car that isn't a BMW, in seventh in the Corvette. So the first 6 positions on the grid taken by the BMW. Seawinkle, we see him in 8th in the Mustang. Bales Tonovic is in 9th in the Nissan GTR. ADG 123 is in 10th, which is me, in the Dodge Viper. And Rocky Rich finds himself in 11th place in qualifying and is in the Nissan GTR. So let's crack on with the race, basically. We'll skip back up to Edwin, hit start, look back from Edwin's car, and then we'll jump on board with CJW, I think. So everyone getting a decent start. We see just behind CJW we've got Ginger Crackhead getting a really good pull there and just getting a good drive, so it's catching up. Robust the Hood side by side with CJW into T1. Has 91 second of wide line in. Everyone keeping it nice and clean behind. CJW finds himself losing out a little bit with a tap there from Robust the Hood and finds himself right on the outside, so now down into 5th. Robust up into 4th. And then a little tap at the apex there, so you see CJW go wide. And then there's a tap there from Bale getting past Ginger Crackhead, which then means CJW's got nowhere to go. Finds himself spinning. I collect CJW as well as he spins. It's all going on for CJW on lap 1, and a very, very bad start, unfortunate for him there, with numerous bits of contact from various people that just managed to put him further and further back. So we see Ginger Crackhead got past there pretty aggressively by Bale, but Bale's up into 5th now. Ajax in 6th in between, and then we've got Robust the Hood chasing on the lap on the end of lap 1 into the last corner, trying to keep the inside line and get past Mutt. Mutt's in 3rd currently, Haz is in 2nd, but Robust decides to pull into the slipstream behind, doesn't quite get the run down the straight, and has to stick in 4th place into T1. Looking for the inside line on Mutt though, not quite developing a line there, so having to just follow him through the first corner. Gets himself side by side through here though, which is quite a tight corner, easy to go wide on the exit. So Mutt just gives way almost and thinks better of having a contact or a big moment and lets Robust just take the place through there. So good racing already from our championship leader, Robust the Hood. He's not failed to entertain us this season through these replays. If you've caught up with them, or if you haven't, feel free to go back and watch the races. I've done commentary over every single replay from every single race, believe it or not, of the championship. So there's only been 10 races all in all. It's not like there's 50 races, but if you want to go back and check out any of the races, or even start from the beginning and watch them all, feel free to do so. And you'll find that Robust the Hood has had a very, very good season, and we've watched a lot of his action, and he's provided us with some good overtakes and some good action to watch all season long, as well as other drivers as well, but Robust in particular has just had the season to never forget, really. So Ajax going into the back of Bale there a little bit, getting it wrong on the brakes, and it's no massive issue for Bale. Bale's just got a bit of a boost really, and then Ajax has slowed right down, losing the momentum. So Ginger Crackhead in 7th place round the back of Ajax now, and Seawinkle's not far behind. Bit of a mixed race going on behind those guys, with CJW, ADG and Rocky Rich at the back. But anyway, we'll stick with the action as best as I can. Got Ajax side by side with Ginger Crackhead going into the tight double left hand apex corner, for want of a better phrase to call it. Skip up the camera angle a bit, and we'll jump back up to the guys towards the top, see what's going on. So we've got Mutt in fourth now, Has in third, and Roberts has actually got past. We've missed the overtake as per usual. I'm terrible at this. I'm not very professional whatsoever, so I missed pretty much every overtake going on. And Roberts has got himself up into second, getting past Has. At the moment, Edwin's just got the space to just concentrate, get his lap times in and pull away. So he's managed to pull quite a lead in first place, doing a good job. Whilst the rest of the guys are left to battle for the rest of the podium spots behind. But we'll see if that changes in time in the race, and see if whoever's in second can close in Edwin in first and close that gap down. Anyway, good, clean, close racing as we have become accustomed to watching from the guys we're watching at the moment. Has, Mutt, Roberts, I dare say myself at times, Edwin, Bale, Stonovic, Ginger Crackhead. There's a lot of good guys in this league. Seawinkle. In fact, I'd go as far as to say I don't think there's one bad driver in this league that really lets himself down. So it's been an absolute pleasure every single week. And I'm sure everyone agrees with that, because it's been a hell of a championship in my eyes. So again, we see Has chasing down Mutt. Bit of a battle developing between these two, corner after corner now. Robertson's pulled a little bit of a lead away from Mutt now. A couple of car lengths developed. And again, checking back in on Edwin. He's still got a decent size gap there to Robertson, so he don't have to worry too much at the moment. We are only 5 minutes into the race of half an hour race though, so there's plenty of time to be made up as we see Bale Stonovic going wide on the exit through there. And now Ginger Crackhead in 6th place has got a chance to sniff down 5th place with that moment in front of him. Bunches the guys up behind a little bit as well, so we see Ginger Crackhead down the inside, but he's going to find himself on the outside for the tricky double apex left-hander, which is just a slow, horrible, clumsy corner in my opinion, but there you go. Bale doing a good job, but now he's got Ginger Crackhead down the inside, so the lines change quite a bit, so you find yourself on the inside on one corner, the outside for the next. But if you manage to keep it side by side as Ginger Crackhead's just done, you get the inside corner back again on the third corner that you go through together, so it's worked out well there for Ginger Crackhead. But at the same time, CJW is not losing out, and we've got Ajax just pulled the slipstream and pulled past both of them into 5th. What a move from Ajax. I know it was only on the straight, but brilliant slipstreaming, brilliant run out of the last corner to be able to do that. And now we've got CJW and Ajax side by side as they head into here. Ajax going on the outside line, just touches the grass by the look of it as he ran a little bit wide. Oh, and then there's a bit of a contact as the line gets cut off from CJW as they both head into the apex at the same time. Oh, and they both end up having a spin. Ajax has a bigger spin and ends up coming to a complete stop, and CJW just doing a 360 and managing to carry on. So that's affected Ginger Crackhead's race. He's now down into 7th. Seawinkle's managed to make a few positions out of that unfortunate incident, and he's up into 6th. And Bale Stonovic just manages to get away in 5th place and still just has a chance to try and pull away from the guys in front now, as that mistake drops them back quite a lot. So it was all getting close and good, close, clean racing going on there until that tiny tap at the apex, and it all just kicked off. That's how easy it can be around the track like this to cause a bit of contact and ruin each other's races. But there you go, that's racing at the end of the day. I'm not a steward, I'm not here to blame people and point the finger and say whose fault it was. I just, quite frankly, for the replay, I just quite like the action. It gives me something to commentate on. So Ajax now in 11th place, unfortunately, after that. Rocky Rich right on the back of me, having a race between me and Rocky Rich this week in 9th and 10th. I could bang on about my own race all for the full half an hour, but I'm not going to. It was a bad week for me, and I completely lost out on my promotion spot by having 2 really bad results. But anyway, we'll talk about that towards the end of the race. got Seawinkle in 6th chasing Bale, and Bale's now got a 3.5 second penalty, so let's see if he pulls over and loses it down this straight, as he should do. In fact, he's pulled over really badly and confused Seawinkle there, so Seawinkle's actually ended up going into the back of him, and that was just a bit of a well, I know you can't communicate, but you can almost communicate with your intentions by going down the inside or whatever, so bit of miscommunication between the guys there, and finds Seawinkle actually losing a position there as well, so Ginger Crackhead takes 5th place. Having a good race so far is Ginger Crackhead. A few little moments here and there, but other than that, he's found his way. He's found his way going forward rather than backwards. Has 91 doing a decent job as well. Mutt in 3rd. Edwin's still in 4th, 1st even. Watching everyone come through the fast bank corner, it looks quite cool. Good to see on CJW's car there. I missed that race, but there was a race known as FU to Cancer, and everyone put the FU to Cancer livery or decals on the car. Just noticed it then on CJW as we were watching him. So anyway, we'll jump back up towards the top and see what's going on again. So at the moment we've got Robust the Hood in 4th place, so I've missed it, but there's been a bit of an incident there from Robust, no doubt, and that's why he's dropped right back. Has 91 now in 3rd, Mutt in 2nd, and Edwin in 1st. We'll go through the full order to be fair to everyone. So Robust in 4th, like I've just said, Ginger Crackhead in 5th, but right behind him he's got CJW and Seawinkle battling away side by side with each other. It's good to see a BMW actually racing against a different car, as we see Seawinkle in the Mustang. Again, Seawinkle just dropping back in 7th though. Bale having a good start to this race, but finds himself in 8th now. We did see him go a little bit wide and have a moment. Ajax has managed to claw his way back up from right at the back after that big incident and spin. He's up into 9th now. He's got past me in 10th and Rocky Rich in 11th. So again, we'll try and skip up and stick with the action. CJW looks like he's putting a bit of pressure on the back of Ginger Crackhead now. It's quite close. So let's see if Ginger Crackhead can handle it, and let's see if CJW can force the issue. It looks like he's taking slightly different lines into there. CJW trying to get a different line on the exit, but it's not quite worked out. Again, good clean racing from everyone involved in these League 3 races, week after week, so been a pleasure. I can consistently watch anyone pretty much, and I know that if there's an overtake it's going to be clean, and there's not going to be a lot of wall bashing going on either at the same time. Good fast laps going in. So let's just watch Edwin. I think we'll go on board with Edwin for a lap, just to be fair to him, since he's out there setting some fast laps in pole position. So we'll watch him come towards the start finish line, and then we'll watch a full lap with Edwin. Something a bit different I like to do every now and again. So he's coming up to the last corner now, or arguably the last real corner. The big banked corner, this one is actually the last corner. But it's pretty much, well, it's flat out, and you just hold the inside line for the maximum speed. So looking back, he's got a massive lead to Mutt behind, so there's no need to worry about anything from behind for Edwin here in first place. Taking a nice line. all the way through there, just running it wide-ish on the exit, but not too wide. Hooks up the apex through there and just runs a nice line again and again, just gets turned nice and early into the apex and just runs the curve nicely. Takes the exit well. Down 4 gears it sounded like there, or definitely 3, in second gear as he comes out there. And then interestingly for me, I want to see what he does through here, because I struggle through that corner every single time. So just made it look easy, missed the first apex, turned into the second, cut the corner a little bit there on the second to last corner. But all in all, a nice, good example of a good clean lap there from Edwin round Blue Moon Bay Speedway. So there's a bit of a gap developed between the top 4 guys now, so we'll jump back to 5th and 6th, which is Ginger Crackhead and CJW bumper to bumper, coming through the last corner now themselves. CJW's going to have a chance down into the first corner here. You don't get much closer. So it looks for the inside line as he hit the brakes. It's not a particularly heavy braking zone there, so it's the line you're looking for to run side by side, which CJW did very nicely there to just make the most of the corner. He got himself down the inside. CJW up into 5th. Winkle looks like he's dropped back quite away from those guys now. Got Bale not far behind him and Ajax not far behind him as well, trying to get themselves back into the race with half of the race gone now. So keep an eye on this battle for a lap or 2. Ginger Crackhead and CJW. See if CJW can pull away now. He's pulled a little bit of gap already, so let's see if we can increase that gap over the next half lap or so. I always forget, looking down at the gears, I always forget these BMWs have 7 gears. That's why I said, was it 3 or 4 gears that it went down into that corner? And it will have been 4, because it was probably in 6th gear. Into this one here. Oh no, not that one, this next one, sorry. Nicely done from Ginger, not dropped off too far, but not quite got the pace to keep up with him. And we've got Robust, looks like he's slowly reeling in. Has now looking to get back on the podium is Robust. So we'll keep an eye on that between Robust and Has. It's all got a bit spread out now. At the same time we see Seawinkle and Bale Stonovich side by side. Bale just doing a good job of holding the inside line on the brakes and keeping Seawinkle on the outside, which is the correct technique through there if you want to keep your position. So Bale still keeping his 7th place there, even though there was a little bit of a threat from Seawinkle. Ajax is now getting into this race as well because of these guys slowing each other down a little bit. So Ajax goes for the dive to the inside around the tight right hander, a bit of contact, which is unfortunate as they got a little bit squiffy on the brakes, as I like to call it. Ajax up into 8th there after that. Not the cleanest over tape, but not the worst I've ever seen. Seawinkle now down into 9th after Ajax's move there. So let's keep an eye on that as well. Can Ajax slowly get onto the back of Bale Stonovich? Doesn't even look like it's going to be slow. It looks like it's going to happen pretty quickly. He's got the slipstream and he's got the run out of that last corner compared to Bale. Top end speed of the Corvette showing on this track. compared to the GTR. The GTR is normally quite a quick car, but didn't seem it then. So the Corvette of Ajax just getting a bit squiffy again on the brakes and going into the side of Bale mid-corner, which allows Seawinkle just to drive past and make the opportunity in front of him work and get himself back up into 8th position. Ajax now in 9th after that little incident. So a bit of a race still going on between these guys. It's all to play for. See Ginger Crackhead still with a similar gap by the look of it to CJW in front. And Robertson has actually got past now into 3rd place, so I've missed it again. I missed every move from Robertson in this race so far. So Robertson doing a really good job. He's made that last couple of laps really work for him. Chased Has really quite quickly and managed to get past him eventually. So good work there from Roberts to put himself on the podium at the moment, that is. And then Has is in 4th place. He's had a good race as Has. He just needs to either try and get that 3rd place back or just try and stick in 4th whilst CJW try and catch up behind. It's not impossible. There's still over 10 minutes left, so there's still a race in the last couple of laps in this race to be had. Not that I've watched it back, so I don't know if it actually gets any closer or not, but this is the first time I've watched the replay back, and because I was right at the back in this race, I didn't actually really know what was going on at the front. Not my best week, as I've already mentioned. I've got accustomed to racing with some of these guys up front over the weeks, but it all went sour this week. If you watch my stream, you probably hear me rant on about why as well for about half an hour. Don't know why, but I'm enjoying watching Ginger Crackhead and CJW. Seem like they're very equal pace, so it's just down to actual individual lap time to determine whether they're going to catch each other up or not. CJW actually going for a bit of a defensive line through there, so let's see if Ginger catches up on the exit. Sorry if you think this kind of commentary is a bit boring, but there's not a lot of action going on, so I've got to commentate on something at the end of the day. Let's check out through the order again with 10 minutes left. Edwin in 1st place, 4:20. Mutt in 2nd. Robertson in 3rd. Has 91 in 4th. CJW, as we've just been watching, in 5th. Ginger Crackhead in 6th. Bales Tonovic in 7th, Seawinkle in 8th, and then we've got Ajax running a different line altogether through the last corner in 9th, Rocky Rich in 10th, and you see me right at the back there with a penalty of 0.3 of a second in 11th position. So again we'll skip up to Has this time round because he's definitely getting chased down now by CJW. In fact, they get very close on the brakes. Oh, excuse me, very close on the brakes into that corner there. So CJW has definitely got the pace to try and make something happen in the remainder of the race. Oh, CJW nearly went into the back of Has there, so CJW goes to the inside line, attempts to get his 4th place. Has not really making it much of a battle there, because doesn't really defend the situation, so CJW more or less just gets the easy chance to drive past him, and he's up into 4th like I've just said. Gets a chance to chase down CJW now. It looks like he's really on it at this point in the race. The CJW had a bit of a scrappy opening lap, through no fault of his own, or a little bit maybe of his own fault, and a bit unfortunate from contact from other people at the same time. So found himself dropped right back at the beginning of the race. So he's had a good race to CJW to claw this one back. I believe as well that CJW streams his races live, so if you want to go check them out on Facebook, I think it's CJW_racing. If you want to, not Facebook, YouTube. If you search for that on YouTube, you will find these videos, and you'll see a newer perspective of these races. So again, CJW looks like he's catching up to Robert Hood more than Haz is staying with him, if that makes sense. He's pulled the gap basically away from Haz. So the closing part of this race could be pretty exciting as these guys get closer and closer to each other. Let's just hope they actually get close enough for some action to happen towards the end. Get a real concertina effect into that corner. It looks like you've really got close and closed up, and then it all opens up again as the acceleration points are completely different on the exit of the corner. So full credit to Edwin 420 and Mutt. Not really talked about you too much this race, but kept dropping in on you. But really good racing to keep it up there for the whole race. We all know that there's some quick guys in this championship, so it's really good to get a good result. So well done with that. Keeping the race going up front. A lot of people might think that it's easy when you pull a bit of a gap up front, but it isn't, because you've only pulled a bit of a gap because you're being fast and consistent. So one little mistake and you're so aware that you could lose a lot of time. So although you might not have direct pressure on your rear bumper from anyone, as we see CJW actually going for it on Roberts there, got very close. But yeah, you might not have any direct pressure, but at the same time you've still got the pressure of putting in decent laps so you don't start dropping back. So CJW had a really quiet, decent lap there and closed right in on Robus. At one point it looked like they were about to go side by side. So I think this final step of the podium is still available at the moment. Robert Sarthe is struggling to pull away. I like switching up into this camera angle every now and again, gives you a different idea of what's going on and how close it was between the guys as they actually drove the cars rather than just from the outside view. Different line taken by both of them there. I think everyone takes their own little line through that corner. It's a weird corner. There's not many corners, there's not many tracks, sorry, that have corners like that on it. So Robert's trying to break the slipstream there, as we see, pulling to the left hand side and just trying to break the slipstream for a second to just prevent that attempt into T1 from CJW, which he manages to do nice enough. So Robert's keeps his third place quite nicely with a decent technique to avoid a chance from CJW down the straight there. Ever aware is Robert Sarthe, it seems, of what's going on behind him and in front. So Ginger Crackhead's got past Haz now. So again, I can't catch all the action in these races, especially when I'm watching it already. But Ginger Crackhead doing a good job to get past Haz. Haz was in 4th place for a lot of the race, in 3rd place at one point. So he's not a slow guy, and Ginger Crackhead's managed to make it work towards the end of the race and get up into 5th place, past Has in 6th now. As we look back, there's a big gap as well, so I think that's a pretty safe position for those guys towards the front. Seawinkle's in 7th, Bale Tonovic in 8th, going a little bit wide on the exit. Ajax in 9th, Rocky Rich in 10th, and ADG 1, 2, 3 right at the back in 11th. So, skip back up again. We'll stick with this little battle. Oh, we've seen Ginger Crackhead have a bit of a moment, by the look of it. He's got Has 91 right at the side of him. Just manages to keep it going though, does Ginger Crackhead, and keeps 5th place. So, in fact, I'm going to skip back to that because it was only 10 seconds ago. So we've got Has going for the inside line, down into T1. Oh, and then has a massive moment of oversteer mid-corner, has to lift out and loses all momentum on the exit. So Ginger Crackhead just manages to carry on with his momentum and drives past and gets his 5th place back. So good attempts there from Ginger Crackhead, but didn't quite execute it brilliantly and got too much oversteer going. Oh, taking a wide line there as Has as well, so very hesitant to get back on the power on the exit. It looks like we're coming towards the last lap now as we come over the line. So as we check out Robus and CJW, there's quite a big gap. So let's see what happens over the next lap. This is definitely the last lap. We're just about to come to the half an hour marker in a minute. So we've got Edwin 420 still in 1st place. Mutt is still in 2nd, doing a really good job. He's got me in front of him as a back marker. Robust the Hood in 3rd, with the fastest sector time in the 1st sector there from Robust. Doing some fast laps towards the end of the race here. He's pushing. And then we've got CJW in 4th. Again, that concertina effect, they get incredibly close on the brakes there into the apex. Anyway, we'll be fair to the guys and watch Edwin come over the line. So Edwin 420, he's in 1st place, wins the race, good win from there. The start pretty much from Edwin, sorry. Mutt 36 comes home in 2nd. Robust Hood brings it home in 3rd in the end. CJW did a really good job of chasing him down but couldn't quite get it done. Brings it home in 4th, nothing to be ashamed of. 5th is Ginger Crackhead. Has 91 right behind him in 6th, and then we've got Seawinkle coming through the last corner now in the Mustang in 7th. Bales Tonovic's going to come in 8th, Ajax in 10th, and rounding out the top 10, Rocky Rich in 10th, and ADG 1, 2, 3 in 11th. So thank you very much for watching. I've been ADG, and yeah, stick with me for race 2 of Friday night's races and Friday night's final round of the Mature Racing Club Gran Turismo Touring Car Championship. And stick with it and watch that as well, by all means. So I will see you again on the next video incredibly soon, and take care. Subscribe if you haven't, by the way. Why haven't you? And give us a like if you've enjoyed this as well. See you again soon. My throat feels a bit groggy, so hopefully I ain't sounding too bad. Anyway, take care and adios.